Someone doesn't need a cloth before you can put it in.
When it comes to SSTs, there's serum, and when it comes to a lavender, there's plasma. You want it to separate evenly, because if you spin it like this, there's a possibility that the two could be still mixed.
My name's Alfredo, and I'm on a mission to speak to as many small business owners as possible. You see, over 5 million people will start a business in the US this year, and less than half will make it past year 5. So I want to find out, what does it take to start a small business, and what does it take to survive as a small business owner? This is the Owner's Manual. On today's episode, I'm speaking to Xyon Lucas. Xyon is the 25-year-old owner of A-List Mobile Labs. He's trying to build, in his words, Uber for blood. Xyon shared 3 lessons with me about starting a small business, but before we get into them, let's start at the beginning. Xyon started the way most entrepreneurs do, by working for somebody else.
That job really will make you a man. That job was a crazy job. You were making medical supplies. The way that you would make it was with these stacks of hot plates. And you were flipping these heavy hot plates back and forth and taking off the pieces, making sure that they were good, putting them in a bucket, and putting a whole slab of rubber back on top of it and pushing it back into the oven. I still got burn marks on my arms from it. That right there just let me know, okay, yeah, I don't want to work for anybody.
So his mind was made up, he wanted to work for somebody else, and in a perfect world, he'd just be able to quit, lean on some savings, and figure out what's next. But that just wasn't the reality of the world that he was living in.
I was homeless. It was just me and my dad. We were working some crazy jobs, man. I hated the fact that somebody had the power to just take money out of my pocket or, stop me from feeding my family. It didn't always feel like we were homeless. It felt like sometimes we were camping. That's what it felt like. We would get a membership at the gym, we'll take showers at the gym, we'll go to the grocery store, get food stamps and make sandwiches and all types of stuff, just making it fun. Just taking the mindset away of, okay, I'm actually homeless. Just having that experience alone motivated me even more. It was a blessing in disguise because it pushed me closer to my dad.
There's actually one more unexpected upside. With nowhere to be, his nights and weekends were wide open.
Well, when you're homeless, you got a lot of time on your hands. So you get to research a lot of stuff.
So Xyon started consuming as much info as he possibly could on how you start and run a business. How do you create a website? How do you create a logo? How do you get customers? Create an LLC? Basically, he wanted to know,
what is it that you need to obtain in order to have a legitimate business?
So he's doing all of this research, but eventually hits a point where it's like, okay, this research is only going to take me so far. I need to actually go out and do a thing now. And that is lesson 1. Start before you feel ready.
When are you going to actually start? When are you going to actually put yourself in a position when it's like, okay, I'm just going to jump head first and I'm going to figure it out as I go?
Xyon had a bunch of different ideas for businesses that he could start, but there was one in particular that stood out: mobile phlebotomy. I was not familiar with the word phlebotomy, so if you're not, I will let Xyon explain.
We basically draw blood and we collect pretty much any specimens, that's the proper term. Mainly blood, urine, feces, sometimes saliva, toenails, hair follicles.
Of course, the natural barrier to starting a phlebotomy business is that it really helps to be a phlebotomist.
This is not like you're flipping burgers or something. You literally stick it to somebody with a needle.
So he stopped researching and he took that first step. He used the bit of savings that he had in order to sign up for a course. He passed the certification exam, and then he got a job at a plasma center so that he could build his experience and confidence.
I found out that I was really good at it, and I stuck with it.
Okay, just for a second, let's take a step back. Why did Xyon feel like mobile phlebotomy was the right type of business to get into? He saw that in the US, by 2034, for the first time ever, there would be more seniors than children. And he thought, those seniors are going to need blood work, and they would probably prefer it from the convenience of their home rather than having to drive somewhere. And of course, you don't have to be a senior to prefer convenience. I mean, just look at the rise of companies like DoorDash and Uber. So this brings us to lesson number 2. When you're starting a business, identify a trend. You want to get into an industry that is growing, not one that is shrinking. Xyon identified this trend, and then he got to work.
So you're creating a logo, you're coming up with the name, you're creating a website, you're creating a little t-shirts. For me, it wasn't t-shirts, I had to do scrubs. I got the embroidery, I wanted to be official. I didn't want to do no like iron press, I think that was lame.
So there definitely were expenses involved in launching this business. He had to spend money on the uniform, the website, the course to actually become a phlebotomist, and then, of course, there were all of the supplies.
Gauze, needles, tourniquets, gloves, tubes, pipettes, urine cups, biohazard bags, hand sanitizer, paper for my printer, my label printer.
All in, Xyon had to spend around $2,500 to launch this business, which is a lot of money for most people, but especially for Xyon at that time. So let's break it down. How much money can you actually make as a mobile phlebotomist?
I charge $85 in order for me to come to your house, draw your blood, process it, whether I have to spin it or centrifuge it into another tube, and safely drop it off to a LabCorp request.
After gas and supplies, that $85 nets Xyon around $68 in take-home pay. So let's look at that across a month. If Xyon can do 3 visits a day, 5 days a week for a month, that's around $4,000. If he can keep his calendar more full than that at 6 visits a day, that's closer to $8,000. So it's pretty good money when you are the owner-operator, when you are working on the business and in the business. But in order to really scale this thing, Xyon is going to need to find contracts with clinics or nursing homes. That is how it can go from being a job where he is both the employee and the owner to being a business where it can potentially run without him.
One clinic, one contract could be bringing you in between $4,000 to $5,000 a month.
Xyon is working on getting contracts like these, but for now he's doing everything himself. The blood draws, the driving, the marketing, the invoicing. Building a business just isn't something that happens overnight. You have to stick with it, even when not everybody believes in you. And that brings us to lesson number 3, block out the noise.
We live in a really good time. We could make money with our brains. We don't have to physically put wear and tear on our bodies to make money like our parents or our grandparents may have had to do. So I kind of feel like I have just to seize the moment. And then you got people around you that have just the normal mindset of, hey, maybe you should continue working your job. Maybe you should stop doing the business and start like, no, I know where that leads.
A few years ago, Xyon and his dad were living in a car, and now Xyon is literally building a business out of one. It's not Uber for blood yet, but it's his and nobody can take it away. So if you are in the Raleigh-Durham area and you need blood work done, get in touch with A-List Mobile Labs. I will leave their website in the description below. Before we go, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Alfredo, and I am the co-founder of a company called Upfirst. At Upfirst, we're making tools to make life easier for small business owners, starting with our AI receptionist. I know there are a lot of feelings about AI, but let me just explain. Let's take Xyon, for example. When he is in the middle of drawing somebody's blood and somebody calls because they want to schedule a visit, he just can't answer. He's in the middle of something. So that call would go to voicemail, and it risks the person calling the next company on the list. So that is where Upfirst comes in handy for those calls that you just can't answer yourself. It can look at your calendar, book appointments, collect information from leads, and then send all of that to you in an email or a text message. We offer a completely free 2-week trial. We don't ask for a credit card. So if you're curious about it and you want to give it a try, I will leave the link to start a trial in the description below. I'm excited to make more episodes of the Owner's Manual, and if you have a small business or you know someone who runs a small business and you think that we should tell their story, I will also leave my email in the description below. Thank you so much for watching.